Grass is important to dads with perfectly manicured lawns, but it goes unnoticed by the rest of us. But what if you were a lot smaller and you made your home in thick, tall grass? You might find it more difficult to get around than a walk in the park. One lizard has come up with an interesting way to get over the green grass he sees to food, shelter, and all the things a small lizard could want. But swimming the sawgrass straits is just one method of locomotion in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal info. I'm Joe.
And je suis Carlos.
And today we're talking about a tie tail of a towering tail, actually. But more on that later. I was like, can I do any of this in French? And the answer was no.
It's okay. Duolingo is helping me along, and I just thought I'd inject that into the learning that we experience here.
Okay, yeah. Some linguistic learning. Not a bad idea.
But let's learn about animals instead. We're talking about the long-tailed grass lizard. It's a long name, the LTGL. It's too much. Here's what we can call him instead.
I'm actually looking forward to this because I would like to supplant this ridiculous name with something shorter.
Well, sciencemen also call it the Asian grass lizard, which isn't much better. And here's one. See, they really wanted to make things... They're all about brevity when it comes to science.
Right.
So instead of calling it the long-tailed grass lizard, they decided to call it the six-striped long-tailed grass lizard.
Oh, then much better, yeah.
Yeah, the SSLTGL. It's great. Doesn't spell anything. No vowels to speak of. But we're going to call it here the sneaky slinky skink, the magnanimous Mr. Mime, and what I'm going to call it for the rest of this episode, Reggie Tails.
Reggie Tails, okay.
He's going to be Reg.
Okay.
So let's find out where
Tails.
Let's find out where Reg lives on the taxonomic categorical not so spectrum. It's in a kingdom you like, love, and are in. Oh wait, no, you know it. You love it and are in it. Goodness gracious, I will never get this right. But the kingdom is Animalia. The phylum is Chordata because it has a tiny little spine.
Mm-hmm.
The class is Reptilia. Wait, is it Reptila? I think it's Reptilia, right?
No, it's Reptila.
Reptila. Oh my goodness, I put it in
It just seems right to have it be Reptilia for some reason.
And you said the song wasn't even Reptilia?
No, it's also just Reptila.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry out there who are listening and believe most of what I say. It's Reptila, not Reptilia. The order is one we visited before. Actually, we visited in episode 4, Squamata, when we were talking about the lizard that shoots blood out of its eyes.
Uh-huh.
The horny toad, which is not a toad at all. It's a lizard. The family is Lacertidae.
Sure. Okay. Lizard. Sounds like something you'd make up if you were like trying to pretend to know what the taxonomy is.
Well, it's not Lizardidae. It's Lacertidae. So Lacer, like lacer.
Gotcha.
And then today. And we're going to play laser tag today. Laser today. The genus is Tachydramus or
we're going to laser
Tachydramus?
later today.
I would love to play laser tag. So the genus is Tachydramus is what I want to say, but it's probably Tachydramus. The species is Sexlineatus.
Yeah.
Which is Latin for 6 lines.
Okay.
But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for what will quickly be decided as the listener's favorite part of the show, critter groups.
It is a candidate. Okay, critter groups.
Yes, it's time for this part. So during this part of the show, I, Carlos, posed to Joe a question, which is the same every time. And that question is, what is the name of a group of this animal? So since we're talking about lizards, Joe, what is the name of a group of lizards, the collective noun? Is it A, a scurry? Is it B, a lounge? Is it C, a clade? Or is it D, a catastrophe?
What was the first one?
Scurry.
Scurry seems right, but I'm going to go with lounge.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Did you cheat?
No.
That's a good, that was a good guess.
You know what my my thought process was? Like, there's this artist on the internet that has lizards and has figured out a way to like manipulate them so that she can put them into like poses and stuff, and there's a bunch of them just lounging around and like sitting on beach chairs and stuff.
Like taxidermied lizards?
No, like living lizards that she just has like they're just down for whatever.
They're the chillest reptiles. They're just like, whatever, put a drink in my hand and some sunglasses, tiny sunglasses on me.
Exactly
and
what you're describing is what. Look it up. And so I was just like, that's a lounging lizard. Maybe that lizards are known for their ability to lounge.
Oh my goodness, that's insanity. I will look that up. I was kind of hoping I'd get you on catastrophe, but
no. Catastrophe was too. No, it was too outlandish.
What? Some of them are outlandish.
The first one really was compelling to me.
All right. You get one. You win this round.
To me, in my mind, catastrophe was the one that was like, okay, I can rule that out definitively.
I thought clade would be the one that you could rule out. But anyway, all right. So I made things easy for you. It turns out I gotta work a little bit harder. Although the mental connection you made with lounge is serendipitous and delightful.
Yeah, it was nothing but serendipity. It did not lead me there in any sort of logical way.
I mean, they do lounge a lot. They do spend a lot of time pretty much motionless. So, all right, yeah, good job. So let's talk about where Reggie lives.
Okay.
He lives in Southeast Asia, mainly in China, Indonesia, Thailand, but also in India, North Burma, and Malaysia. So it kind of likes that southeastern rainforesty, hot climate. Because it likes to hang out in dense vegetation, and we'll find out why in a bit. So if you're wondering, what does Reggie look like? What does the long-tailed grass lizard look like? What, relationally to its body, how big is its tail? Well, it's long. Enough said. It's got a long tail.
It does.
It is aptly named, and other than that, it looks like a lizard. It's a lizard with a really long tail. Specifically, it has white to cream-colored. The bottom part is white or cream colored, and then its back is brown, sometimes green, or sometimes on the beigeish side. But all of the most of the pictures I saw were like dark brown or green.
Jeff Bezos.
That's a stretch. Okay. It also has several brown stripes of different shades running down its body, hence why it's called sexlineatus. Which is lines, 6 lines.
Nothing else.
Also called, it's also why it's called the 6-striped long-tailed grass lizard. It has a small head with a sharply pointed snout and a black or pink tongue. I wonder how that gets decided.
Council
its
meetings.
Body.
I'm sure.
Are we gonna have black tongues today or pink tongues today? They're too busy lounging to really make those kinds of decisions.
Right.
So Reggie's body is slightly elongated and thin. So if you're thinking of one of those husky, curly-tailed lizards, think again. Okay, this one's This one's a slender boy. It has small, pointy scales that rest just beneath the chin and actually make it look like it has a tiny little beard. So there's your bearded dragon here. Males have white spots on their sides, and females don't. And males also tend to have thicker tails. And that tail is long. Like I said, it's about 3 times their body length. So it's mostly this like unraveled spool of yarn with a little lizard stuck to the end.
Okay.
So if it's 3 times their body length, then how long is the tail, Joe?
Because you said how long is something. Welcome to Measure Up, the leading candidate for Best Part of the Show, a title to be officially determined by you, the listener, on December 3rd on Twitter and Facebook. This is the part of the show where we relate to the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms. Oh no, I said relate and relatable again in this copy. Anyway, we're going to do a little quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also the part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We have no new intros this week, so that means I get to play an animal sound, and Carlos will get to guess it. But I did get...
No!
Johanna sent me a good sound to play. So, without further ado, the soon-to-be-determined listener's favorite part of the show. Did you hear that?
It sounded like a full-grown man was pretending to throw up.
It's not a full-grown man.
Oh, okay. It sounds like it's indoors. So it's got to be an animal that can be brought indoors. I don't know.
What? I mean, technically, any animal can be brought indoors.
Into someone's home easily. Actually, no, not every animal can. Well, that's it. No. If you have a big enough place, you can end up in a big enough pool. You can bring a blue whale indoors.
That would probably be the least easy animal to bring indoors.
Yes, least easy or most difficult.
Not only is it the biggest animal, but it also needs a lot of water.
I guess I'll say it's a dog. I don't know. That's all I could think. What else could it possibly be? It's a dog.
It is a dog having an allergic reaction to eating a flower.
Oh, that's awful.
The video is post vet visit.
I don't. Man, That's not a sound a dog should ever make.
It sure isn't, but he's okay. So
it really does sound like a man retching, though.
It's a dog retching flower.
Oh gracious! I guess that's what I would sound like if I straight up ate a flower.
But he's just like sitting there on the couch. Like the only thing that seems wrong with him is the fact that he is like retching flower bits, I guess.
That he's summoning a demon.
He does sound like a demon. All right. Let's get into length. They're about 12 centimeters or 4.7 inches from snout to vent.
Vent. Oh, did we already establish that this is the buttocks?
Yes.
This is the bum?
Like the body length.
Okay.
So how many long-tailed grass lizards go into the length of the Yam River in Thailand?
Ugh, another river one.
Well, here's a hint. I'll tell you where it starts and ends. The Yam River starts in the Phi Pan Nam Mountains and flows to the Nan River at the Chum Sang district. I'm positive I pronounced all that wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pretty much butchering just the entire Thai culture.
But it's just like, it's 3-letter words.
I know, it's their character symbols.
It's gotta be easy, right? Phi, Phi, Faux fum?
Oh, I mean, their capital's Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a river. It's not a river I've heard of, so it's probably not one of the longest ones. But I mean, rivers are pretty long.
It's a tributary of the Nan River, and the Nan River's long.
Oh, but we're just doing the tributary?
No, it's its own river, but it flows into another river.
Okay. Let's go with 100 miles. That seems like a good river. That's the kind of river I want in my back pocket. I'll go 200 miles. Let's double this baby.
Okay.
And you said 4.7 inches, which will round up to 5, and then shave some off at the end. So 5,100 times 2.5 is, I want to say 13,000. We are looking at 2,600,000 tailless, long-tailed grass lizards named Reggie go into this river.
Okay, that sounds like your math was right. The length of the river is 787 kilometers or 489 miles. So the answer is 6,592,136.
I almost said 500 miles, and I was like, that seems like too much. So I brought it all the way down, and I wish I hadn't. I need to go with my gut. I need to trust my gut.
Rivers are long. We've learned that today.
Not all of them, though. The Loxahatchee's not that long.
Not all of them, indeed. So let's talk about its lifespan. I couldn't find its weight. You'd think I could, based on the fact that the internet is littered with pet information because they are kept as pets. And those people like to make websites and video series about taking care of this lizard.
So that we can't find information about how it acts in the wild.
Right. But in captivity, they can live up to 5 years. Okay. So how many lizard lifespans go into the length of time Thailand has been under its current constitution?
Interesting. I don't think have we done a time one? Maybe a couple times in the past.
Here's a hint. The Constitution was voted in by 61.4% of the 59.4 Thai people that participated.
I know
2.4s.
Almost nothing about the history of Thailand. Except that maybe it was part of the China's communist expansion at one point. So maybe I could say that
I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
They before this constitution, they were under a constitutional monarchy.
Oh. Huh. That does change my answer. I don't know. I'm gonna say let's go with 150 years. Sounds like a good amount of time to no longer be under a monarchy.
And it's a nice number for the 5 years that lizards live in captivity.
That has nothing to do with my decision to go with 150 years. So I guess 30. 30 is my answer.
30 lizard lives?
30 lizard lives. Reggie can live Reggie has 30 generations in the time that between the signing of this new constitution and where we are today.
Well, actually, Reggie was there at the signing of this Constitution.
Oh, gracious me.
It's 0.4 lizard lives because the Constitution was voted in 2 years ago.
That is devious. You finally did it. You finally did something that was less than one.
I had not even thought of it until you said it the other day.
To do something less than one?
Yeah.
Gracious.
All right, that's it. Not
Thailand was a monarchy until 2 years ago.
A constitutional monarchy, so yeah.
I guess like the UK is a constitutional monarchy.
I guess. A parliamentary, who knows. But that concludes Measure Up. Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
I sure do. Let's talk about its diet. Reggie loves him some insects, particularly flies. He's actually so fast that he can leap up into the air and catch them midair. But outside of flies, most of the information I could find about what they eat is from captivity. So you can feed them crickets, you can feed them mealworms, and you can feed them maggots. You're supposed to vary up their diet.
Yeah, like they do in the wild, I guess.
Wouldn't know. No one's ever seen one in the wild.
Apparently.
So Reg likes to hang out and bask in the sun all day, like every lizard ever. It also, like most lizards, likes to freeze in place when danger is near, rather than fight or flight. So if you've ever seen a lizard and it sees you, it's probably going to stop. And then you walk toward it a little bit, and it'll still be stopped. And then when it realizes that you see it, and it's not blending in like Drax in Infinity War, then it will run away, like it should, like a good lizard. But this was an endearing thing that I enjoyed and would have really, really liked to see a video of. Reggie apparently likes to wave at other LTGLs with its little lizard limbs to communicate.
Yeah, you can see other lizards doing this. It's very cute.
Yeah, like kind of like a chameleon, I'm imagining. They're like basically mimes. That's why I called them the magnanimous Mr. Mime. So that's a great way of communication, and I think we should start doing that more as adults, adult humans.
A single wide wave, or miming?
Less miming, more like wide waves.
Okay.
Yeah, big, large gestures of kindness and friendliness. But that's all I got.
Okie doke. Well, let's get into the major fact. All right, so real quick, I just would like to put the Wikipedia page for this animal just on blast. It's like one of the worst ones we've done so far in terms of being a portal for good sources, like Wikipedia usually does. Mere weeks after I gave them $3.
Did you participate?
Uh-huh.
Keep that site going?
Yeah, because for the most part, it's very helpful to me. But all of the links were some of them were to sources that were in Thai, like in another language. Some of them were to the homepage of pet shops. It's like, what the heck is going on here? And it was all really useless. So
you need to learn Thai.
Yeah. To know anything about this lizard. So when they say long-tailed, they aren't kidding. The tail is about 3 times the length of their body. So some can grow over 12 inches overall with the tail.
I would say, I did the math here. I'm looking at almost 19 inches.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that 19 inches because you're probably doing
4.7 times 5.
I mean, that could be a long body that they found, but it could be, the longest one ever. So their tails are also prehensile, which means they are capable of grasping things like tough concepts and philosophy.
It grasps trigonometry.
But prehensile tails are extremely dexterous compared with other tails. So why does he have such a long tail? Good question. I could only find a few sources with varying information. One website, wildherps.com, pretty clever, said, "Nobody needs a tail that long, and don't try to convince me that somebody does."
That person's putting nature on blast.
Another source, which will be linked in the show notes on ldtaxonomy.com, claimed that the lizard uses this tail to balance on unstable grass and bushes. Apparently, overgrown grass is difficult to get through when you're small, so the lizard will run or even, quote-unquote, swim quickly across the top using its tail for balance. Which seems fine. Seems like a good explanation. I saw that on a couple different websites. But it seems like overkill, especially with countless lizards living in grassy areas that don't have like a tail that's 3 times the length of their body.
Yeah, I feel like that maybe the tail came about as because of its propensity to run across the top of the grass rather than go through it, because I feel like with a tail that was much shorter, it would be able to go through the grass no problem.
Well, I've come up with some supplementary theories, or supplementary, you might say, based on what we know about other lizards. Chameleons use very long prehensile tails to support their arboreal lifestyles. Other animals that live in trees, like monkeys, salamanders, and possums, also have prehensile tails. And these types of tails are quite long because it allows for more reach and dangle potential. You got to up that dangle potential. The long-tailed grass lizard, Reggie, I should call him. Mm-hmm. Just like geckos and anoles, they can drop their tails when attacked by predators. Dropped tails continue to wriggle and writhe, attracting predators to them instead of the lizard. Very long dropped tails could attract larger prey, maybe, you know? If you've got like this, like, several inches of writhing tail on the ground, I feel like your predatory instincts are going to go for it. Like if you're a bird, who eats worms that do the same thing, you know?
So most other lizards don't have prehensile tails, which means they can't control it like they would one of their own limbs. So I wonder how much control that Reggie has over his prehensile tail that he removes. If he's like, keep it going, keep it squirming.
Like, does he think about it before and then drop the thing and then the command continues? Or is there like a radio signal?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, it must be crazy to lose what is essentially a limb for them.
Yeah.
Not just
I wonder how much of it they lose.
It's like, for other lizards, it's like, oh, this thing that I drag behind me all the time is gone. But for them, it's like the thing that I can touch and feel and grasp with is gone. Now I don't understand philosophy anymore.
Maybe they only like lose a portion of it and still have a lot of dangle potential.
You have to maintain that dangle potential.
Yeah. What is it? 10x your dangle potential.
This goes to like national lizard conferences for dangle potential.
I have a couple more theories. One is that the monkey tail lizard and some iguanas have long prehensile tails that are used for defense. The tail can be whipped at enemies to discourage an attack.
This one looks like a whip. That was my first thought.
But here's one. To catch prey, maybe. Like you said, the long-tailed lizards were said to be quick and agile, able to leap quickly into the air and catch flying insects. Maybe their tails help them push off the ground with more control and speed than if they had shorter tails. It says they could catch flies in midair, and flies are really good at being evasive.
Yeah, you have to have like a frog's tongue reaction speed to get one.
So I can only imagine that if you jump, like most of his tail's still on the ground, maybe giving him leverage and pushing off.
Yeah, I mean, that would explain why Reggie, as opposed to other lizards, can catch flies.
Yeah.
Maybe
midair.
Maybe he smacks him out of the air with his tail. He's like Dikembe Mutombo. He just swats things out of the air.
Not get in my mouth. So here is the last theory. Maybe it's the same reason lots of animals have seemingly unhelpful and extra oddities to attract mates. Most lizards have dewlaps to attract mates, which are those skin flaps under their chin that flare out and usually have like a color under them. But maybe the tail length is something that the lady lizards consider.
True. It's sexual selection.
Yeah.
A good tail is a good tail. If
the tail is old as time. A lady sees a tail, likes the tail.
It's such a common trope in movies. I wish they would come up with something else.
But that's all I got.
All right. So that was the long-tailed grass lizard. Goodness, that is a long name. So for you out there in Podcastia, bask in the sun, be a good lizard, and grab things with your tail whenever you can, like Reggie Tails, the long-tailed grass lizard in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
We're coming up on election season, and it's your chance to get out there and let your voice be heard. Yes, you have an opportunity to cast your vote for local and federal representatives, but more importantly, you'll have the chance to vote for the best segment of Life, Death, and Taxonomy. Voting will start December 3rd on Twitter and Facebook. If you don't follow us, we are LD Taxonomy everywhere. Get out there and make your vote count towards the most important decision of 2019.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Reggie Tails.
I should have changed it to slap a fly out of the sky.
An unconfirmed trait.
And possibly clap flies out of the sky.